Are you running any test programs up there?
No,
Are the Binars?
not to my knowledge. Is there?
Hello, welcome back. I've got some very interesting facts this week for the episode 1100110110, something like that. Something a bit like that. I can't quite even remember what it's called. It's called something like that. Okay, so this episode, the Enterprise is having an upgrade to its computer network, so it has to go into a space dock, whereby these strange aliens that work for the Federation, the Binars, are going to come on and upgrade the Enterprise's computer networks and computer systems. So on to the first fact. The Binars have a distinctive bald look. They don't have any hair on their bodies whatsoever. So the producers decided that so that viewers didn't confuse Patrick Stewart for being one of the Binars, because of his bald head, of course, they decided to give the Binars more of an alien look, so their skin has a strange blue tint to it, and they've also got a little bit of a malformed head as well, kind of like a nice, beautiful, bulbous head about them. So now in retrospect, when you look at the episode, you can't really confuse Patrick Stewart for being one of them. Now, on to the interesting facts that I've discovered. Originally, the Binars were actually called the Gynars in the original script, but Gene Roddenberry, of course, raised the issue that Gynar sounded a lot like vagina, so instead of being the Gynars, they simply changed it to the Binars, which of course fit in well with the binary idea of the episode. Here's a good fact that you'll definitely like and that you definitely didn't know. During the making of this episode, Jonathan Frakes actually falls down one of the turbo lift shafts because the actor isn't looking where he's going. He's walking backwards with a cheeky look on his face, probably. He's walking backwards while they're making a scene. But unfortunately he fell down a turbo lift shaft. But the good news is it isn't actually a real starship. It's just a set. So he only fell down 2 floors onto a load of kind of card, I think I read. Yeah, like a load of thick card, sort of like cardboard boxes, so he was okay from the fall. Which brings me onto an even more interesting fact.
Is there a problem?
As more and more sets were made of the Starship Enterprise during the creation of Star Trek The Next Generation, more and more of the Enterprise would actually exist in the real world. By the end of Season 2 of Star Trek Next Generation, over 60% of the Starship Enterprise had actually been built for real. Celebrity singer Rivers Cuomo from Weezer is rumoured to actually play one of the Binars under some makeup. I can't actually find out for sure if it is him, but he's not credited in the episode, but he has made a statement in the past saying that he was in the episode, and Rick Berman has also said in an interview once that Rivers did actually play one of the Binars. So I think he is. I think he is. Now, originally the Binars were supposed to be, they're supposed to have a very long nose, kind of like Pinocchio, I guess, sort of have a long foot-long nose and also a long foot-long chin and orange skin. But when they originally made that look for them, they were deemed to be too creepy, and because a lot of kids watch Star Trek Next Generation, they decided to make them blue after that, instead of making them orange with the long nose and long chins. In a scene left on the cutting room floor, one of the Binars emits his acid onto the face of a nearby ensign during the episode, and the makeup department had created terrific gore effects for this ensign, with bubbling flesh all over his face and blood going everywhere when the Binar emits its acid. But unfortunately, it couldn't be on a family TV show, so they had to cut it out, which was a real shame. I really would have liked to have seen that disgusting gore. Now, the corridor set for Deck 10 during this episode was actually finally a complete loop. They'd made the entire deck of 10 of the Enterprise. So when all of the actors went home at the end of the filming day, some of the producers that had motorbikes would actually bring them onto the set and race around the Deck 10 loop, and because it was wide enough for 2 or 3 motorbikes at a time. And sometimes they'd leave smeary oil marks on the carpet, which is why sometimes when people are walking along on Deck 10 during the episodes, the cameras don't let you see the floor, because of course it's got the tyre marks at the time. Here's an episode that you'll definitely like. I'm judging that on the fact that I don't know. The acid that the Binars emit was actual hydrofluoric acid, which was brought in from a chemical processing plant, especially. The producers had to wear special gloves to even carry it around because it was so dangerous. But unfortunately it did spill onto one of the producer's hands. He wasn't wearing gloves at the time, that's a problem, and it spilled onto his hands and it caused horrific burns to the producer, and unfortunately it burned him all the way down to the bone, and you could see the bones of his hands sticking out just because of these Binars flipping acid. Riker and Picard are in the holodeck during this episode, and they're bonding together over Louisiana jazz. It's when Riker creates the character of Minuet, or rather summons up the character of Minuet in the bar, and he's sort of cozying up to her. Picard comes on, and then they start both talking about how much they love that sort of scene, and they really do bond in the episode. Now, just imagine that episode was made in 2024 science fiction. They probably talk deeply about their feelings to each other, Picard and Riker, following up with probably a lot of crying and then a load of kissing. But fortunately this was made in 1988, so there's none of that, and it's a good wholesome family show. So bravo to Paramount for making this terrific episode. Okay, thanks for checking out my very interesting facts, and I think that you might know a thing or two more about the Binars now that you didn't previously. Okay, don't forget to subscribe unless you can't be bothered. Thank you and bye. Bye.